What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode. Let's talk about that bloody final. We're through to a prelim. Oh my God. Let's get into it. Let's absolutely get into it. So before we do jump straight into it, I've just released some new t-shirts with a collab with the Carlton Draft. They're up here. The anti-Ginnivan club. GINNI came on in that last quarter, did a lot of things right, didn't get another head-high tackle. So the anti-Ginnivan club shows your love for Ginnivan. So it's the anti of the anti-Ginnivan club. If you know, it's a double negative. It means that you're positive for Ginnivan, right? You're against the anti-Ginnivan club. But they're up there. Links down below. Supporting the channel, going through that, and supporting your love for Ginnivan. But now, let's talk about this final. God damn, I was nervous. I should mention that I'm actually recording this at 1:04 a.m. on Friday morning. I haven't been able to, no, I definitely wasn't going to sleep. My adrenaline is still absolutely pumping. But yeah, so throughout this game, or even before the game, all day, Wednesday night, I wasn't able to sleep. Thursday, during the day, during work and stuff, I went through so many bottles of water because I was just so parched. I was so nervous. I can't remember the last time. Probably the 2018 Grand Final was when I've been this nervous for a game. Mainly because Melbourne were the most informed team of the competition. No one wanted to verse Melbourne in that game. And, we copped them first straight up, no home ground advantage. And it was going to be on for young and old. We haven't played them since 1989. We do have this sort of checkered past with them as well. We stopped them from winning 4 in a row and stuff like that, and a couple of grand finals here and there. And now it's kind of, this rivalry is kind of reignited, especially with King's birthday or Queen's birthday, Big Freeze, whatever you want to call it. And then earlier this season, losing to them by 4 points. So I was going into this game thinking, actually, you know what? I was going into this game, I didn't know what to think, honestly. A lot of people telling me, yeah, I'm confident. I think we'll be okay. We're going to win. Trust me. And I just, even at the game, people were coming up to me and say, hey, what's going on? Like, what do you think of the game? And I was like, I don't have any thoughts because I was overcome with nervousness. But then getting the first few goals on the board, Bobby Hill did just everything right. And this is why we got this guy in. So a couple years ago, he could have gone to Essendon, stayed with the Giants for 1 more year. He says he wants to come to the Pies. He is a forward, a genuine small forward that we don't have at Collingwood. I think Ginnivan can do what Bobby does, but Bobby provides, that little bit more run and stuff like that. Kicked 3 goals, 1, pushed up the ground a little bit more as well. And they call him the Dazzler, and that's all he did today. He dazzled, and those first couple of goals were incredible. Really got us going. That first quarter really got us going, and it really set us up. We were in front for that whole game. It really set us up. And then, going into halftime, a few goals up. But you sort of had that feeling throughout the game that Melbourne were going to switch it on. They were too good not to switch it on. And yeah, they were peppering the goals in that third quarter a little bit. Weren't getting any, very much score on the board. And then going into the last quarter, I was nervous as all hell still. We were 5 goals up, and I'm like, 5.5 goals up. I'm like, okay, they need to kick 6 goals here. We just need 1 more goal, and we kill the game. When Melbourne scored 1 goal, I was like, okay, that's fine. Let them get the first one. Then they scored the next one. I was like, oh no. Oh no. We barely have gotten the ball up inside our forward 50. And then they scored the third one, and I'm like, here we go. This is gonna be the heartbreak, right? And, to Melbourne's credit, they played in that second half of the game incredible. They played absolutely incredible. They finished top 4 for a reason. You can see why. Max Gawn was all over the ground. Yeah, Clayton Oliver late in that game as well. Petrarca. Pickett was dangerous. Their goal kicking let them down. But in saying all that, They had 69 inside 50s to our 37, and Craig McRae after the game said stats don't matter, and they don't. Like in a finals, you know what I mean. Um, but our defense held up so well. I don't have numbers in front of me because I just want to give you sort of like my raw thoughts on this game. Don't have numbers, but I think IQ, yeah, that game saving mark, and then Murphy and Moore coming back into the team. They did what they needed to do. Moore was great. Didn't look like the hamstring hindered him at all. Murphy going back with the flight. Jeremy Howe. I think our back six was really sound. I know we missed John Noble, who got left out. They chose Will Hoskin-Elliott over him. And I thought Will Hoskin-Elliott had probably one of his best games for the club that wasn't like a big game, a big scoring game like in 2018. Now he's that wing backman hybrid, and it's great. He's smothering the ball, he's taking tackles, he's taking marks. He is a great role player. And I've got a nice little video coming out of him as well. Yeah, he's a great little role player. Just everyone sort of played their part. And it was definitely a big team performance, and it's one of those performances where, like yeah, we're through to a prelim, and that's incredible. But the work that was put in, and yes, we were 5 goals up, but Melbourne gave it absolutely everything. Melbourne gave it absolutely everything, and now we've got 2 weeks off, pretty much, right? But that's not without like. We don't win that game without the inclusion of Tom Mitchell, who's getting his hands dirty. 4 clearances. I think he had, from memory, looking at those stats before, over a dozen contested possessions. Steele Cyborn had a very good game. But then guys had quiet games. Scott Pendlebury didn't do a hell of a lot. Jamie Elliott had 6 touches, no goals, missed a couple of easy ones. I think Myercheck may have only kicked 1 and missed a couple of easy ones. McStay had a shocking first half. And then in the second half, he kicks 2 really important goals. And he's doing the right things after that JVR elbow to his head, So there was guys that were on a bit of a roller coaster. And what I liked the most about this performance is, 1, yes, it was without Nick Dacos. But 2, I don't think we played our best game of football. There's still a lot of things to work on. You don't want to give a team 69 inside 50s maybe. Thankfully, they couldn't kick to sort of save the game. But you don't want to give a team 69 inside 50s. That's a little bit ridiculous. But I think, yeah, a little bit to improve on, and they will sort of improve on that. But the raw emotion on the final side with everyone sort of around me, and if you follow me on Instagram, you could see that I was having a little bit of a cry on the final siren. I just couldn't keep it in. I think it was the nerves of all day, and everyone's saying, oh, straight Collingwood, straight sets. We got the wobbles and stuff, and all we can do is sort of take it a week at a time, or a game at a time. And now we came up against Melbourne, who, I don't know, were they favourites going into this? I actually didn't see the odds, but a phenomenal side, and we came up against them, and we beat them at their own game. Like, our tackling pressure, just our pressure in general, perceived pressure. We got into Melbourne's heads like really early on, and I think we did a hell of a lot right, and it was an absolute fantastic game from Collingwood. We did what we needed to do, and sometimes wins aren't going to be as beautiful as the Essendon 70-point win, They're going to be hard fought like this. This was really a war of attrition. Yes, we were in front the whole way, but it was definitely a war of attrition. We had to wear Melbourne down, and at the end of the day, they just didn't have the legs to sort of kick them over the line because we did enough work previous to that. In saying that, I would like to kick a few more goals, put a few more goals on the board so we're not panicking in the last quarter. Maybe, we're usually fourth quarter specialists. We dropped off a little bit. Well, hopefully we sort of rectify that. McRae and the coaches will know what to do. But now I think the biggest thing that you're probably coming in for here is the Braden Maynard incident. Look, so it's a tough one. I can't remember another incident similar to this season. Um, Maybe the Cozzy Pickett Bailey Smith one where Cozzy sort of launched himself on purpose into Bailey Smith. Um, and maybe the Patrick Cripps one last year is probably the only two that are coming to my mind at the moment. But this Braden Maynard one, if you looked at opposition supporters on Twitter, they are giving it to Maynard's absolute life, right? And I get it, Angus Brayshaw, and I know he's got a history of concussion, so I really do hope that he's okay. And he when he was getting carted off, he was clapping and putting his thumbs up, so that's a really good sign. He's probably so upset that he couldn't help the team, and he probably won't play, or definitely won't play next week if it's a concussion. So that's sad. So I really do hope that he's okay, and the outcome of what happens with Braden Maynard is it's definitely second to Brayshaw's health. So I do really hope he's okay from that. But look, Collingwood channel, so I'm going to talk about the Brayshaw incident. So he's spoiling the ball. No, not even spoiling the ball. You've got a player running towards you, and he's jumped to sort of stop the ball. So he's come forward, jumped to sort of stop the ball, and then as he's coming, he sort of braces for impact. There's no, nearly dropped my guitar. There is no chance. Look, I don't know Braden Maynard, but I've seen enough of his interviews. I've read enough of his articles. I know that what he does with all these charities and stuff like that. There's no way that is a purposeful hit, right? You are allowed to protect yourself, because if that doesn't happen, and I wish I could if that sort of doesn't happen, if he doesn't spin, or this way, if he doesn't spin to, sort of protect himself and try and hit, he's going to collide with Brayshaw either way, right? If he sort of spins and tries to sort of lower himself, it's so he doesn't cause enough damage, because if he just went front on with his arms out like that, he could have hit him in the neck, broken his nose, done maybe more damage. But look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not there at the game. I'm not there on the ground. I don't really know what Braden Maynard was thinking or what it looked like. But what it looked like to me was just an unfortunate footy act. Like, he went up to spoil the ball, and with the way, force sort of works, he went into him, and it sucks. And I don't think, and I know maybe it's a little bit of Collingwood biased sort of coming out, I don't think there was any malice in it. I know that there was no malice in it. Will it get looked at the tribunal? It's been reported, so you would probably think it goes straight to the tribunal. They probably, I think it's not worth any sort of suspension. Tribunal probably gives them 2 weeks, protecting their head and all that sort of stuff. But then I think Collingwood appeal, and I think they sort of get off with that. If, Patrick Cripps got off last year with knocking out, was it Archie or was it Coleman? I can't really remember. But Patrick Cripps got off in round 20 or whatever it was, 21. They could use that as a defense, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I think that my honest and humble opinion is that it was just a footy act. And yeah, like if this happened to a Collingwood player, I would be furious sort of too. And I'd like to think that I would be subjective and say, it was accidental. But I don't live in that parallel universe, so I'm not really going to know what I would say, and hopefully it doesn't happen, or I say something. But then you look at the other incident, which is the JVR and McStay incident, and JVR, you can see him, he doesn't choose to go for the ball, he chooses to elbow McStay in the jaw, clips him, then that's probably a week there. So, 2 really big incidents, going to be a big talking point, but I think the bigger talking point is that Collingwood have made a prelim, and we can chill out tomorrow. We can just watch the Carlton and Sydney game. But we get Nick Dacos back, primed and ready to go for a prelim. We are 2 wins away. We're 2 wins away from a grand final, from a 16th flag. We're 1 win away from making a grand final. We're 2 wins away from a 16th flag. So, in saying that, before I get even more emotional on camera, let me know your thoughts down below. Who was the best on ground? All your thoughts, the Braden Maynard incident, leave them all down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.